Hey everybody, so last video for today, we have another trade involving the Washington Capitals. Obviously, I talked about earlier, they traded for Carl Hagelin yesterday. Today, they traded for defenseman Nick Jensen from the Detroit Red Wings. So, the way the deal went down is Washington gets Nick Jensen and a 5th round draft pick, and Detroit gets defenseman Madison Bowey, or Bowey, I believe you say it Bowey, and a 2nd round pick. So Detroit gets Bowey and a 2nd rounder, while Washington gets the better defenseman in Nick Jensen, but the lower pick with a 5th rounder. So this is an interesting deal. So Bowey was a guy who was usually a healthy scratch for Washington. Nick Jensen is definitely an upgrade over Madison Bowey, and Nick Jensen will probably play in their top 6 as a defenseman. So I think this is a good deal for the Capitals for right now, and obviously they're thinking about right now. They want to make, they have a Stanley Cup to defend. They want to make another deep run and hopefully win 2 Stanley Cups in a row. So they're gearing up for a playoff run, just like I talked about with them adding Carl Hagelin. So they need to upgrade right now, and that's what they did with this trade. Madison Bowey is not nearly the player that Nick Jensen is. So the draft picks really don't matter all that much, especially to Washington. To Detroit, now the draft picks do matter because they're a rebuilding team. So they get another 2nd round pick, which is good for them. They also get Madison Bowey, who gives them a player and a young player, so maybe he does develop into better than what he is now. Then they get a good young defenseman out of it. At least they get a borderline NHL level NHL defenseman out of it, and someone who probably will, at least for a while, be an NHL defenseman. And it's not like a prospect that is a total, you don't know. He's a total maybe. Bowey can be an NHL player. And then, obviously, the 2nd round pick is important for the Capitals. They get a late round pick in the 5th round, which doesn't mean a whole lot. But the important thing for them is they get Nick Jensen. He makes their defense better. He adds to the team right now. And going into the playoffs, that's obviously what Washington wants to do. Also, Nick Jensen's name was thrown around regarding the Toronto Maple Leafs, that Toronto may look to add Jensen. Well, that's obviously not going to happen now. So as far as the Eastern Conference playoff picture goes, that's one less defenseman off the market for Toronto to get. And Toronto does not get Jensen to help add to their defense core. So this is, Washington is taking away from an Eastern Conference rival while also adding to their team. So overall, I think this is a good move. I mean, the Capitals aren't a team that need to go out and land the top guys. They're a team that has a lot of talent, a lot of good players. They're a team that won the Stanley Cup last year. They just need to add a few of these depth pieces to gear up for the playoffs and make a run, and that's what they're doing. They add a 3rd liner in Carl Hagelin. They add a depth defenseman in Nick Jensen, and you know that they are going full-on in playoff mode and getting ready to go. So I love this deal for the Capitals. I think it's a really good one for Detroit. I mean, they get that 2nd round pick and a player. That's important for them. So I think both teams made out well in what they're trying to do. These are just 2 teams in very different points right now, trying to do different things. You have a rebuilding Red Wings team and a Stanley Cup hopeful Capitals team. So good move on both sides, but obviously the main thing here is that Washington got Nick Jensen, and he will help them certainly come playoff times on that defense core. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media, check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Maybe help me get a new webcam because mine is not working and I'm doing this on my phone. And keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Talk to you soon.